What if I told you that somewhere in the middle of a crowded London street, hidden in plain sight, there exists a doorway to a world filled with magic, mystery, and secrets so deep that once you step inside, your life can never be the same again, because today we're diving into Chapter 5, Diagon Alley, from the exact moment where Harry Potter stops being just an ordinary boy and begins his journey into a universe far bigger, and far more dangerous, than anything he could have imagined. So before we begin, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay till the very end, because there's a subtle detail in this chapter that quietly foreshadows one of the biggest connections in the entire series, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. The story begins with Harry leaving behind the only life he has ever known, a life filled with neglect, confusion, and isolation, and stepping into the unknown alongside a towering figure who might seem intimidating at first glance, but is actually the first person to ever truly care about Harry. And as they arrive in London, there's this feeling that something big is about to happen, like the calm before a storm, because they stop outside a small, almost unnoticeable pub known as a place so ordinary to non-magical people that most wouldn't even glance at it twice, yet for those who know, it's one of the most important gateways into the wizarding world. And the moment Harry steps inside, everything changes, because suddenly the room falls quiet, eyes turn toward him, whispers begin, and one by one witches and wizards approach him, not with fear but with awe, respect, even admiration, and this is the first time Harry experiences him outside toward what appears to be nothing more than a plain brick wall. And here's where the magic truly begins, because with a few precise taps of his umbrella the wall starts to shift, bricks sliding and rearranging themselves until an opening forms, revealing a hidden street that feels like stepping into another reality, and that reality is called a place bursting with life, color, and energy, where every corner holds something extraordinary, from shop windows filled with spell books and magical instruments to strange creatures and enchanted objects that seem almost alive. And for Harry, this isn't just a shopping trip, it's the first time he feels like he belongs somewhere, like he's finally part of a world that makes sense. And as they walk deeper into the alley, Hagrid takes Harry to the Wizarding Bank, known as a place that feels both impressive and slightly intimidating, run by goblins who guard vaults hidden deep beneath the ground. And as Harry enters his vault, he discovers something that completely changes his understanding of his past. His parents didn't leave him with nothing, they left him with a fortune, piles of gold that represent not just wealth but a connection to a family he never truly knew. But just when you think this moment is all about discovery and relief, the story quietly introduces something far more mysterious, because Hagrid retrieves a small, secret package from another vault, refuses to explain what it is, and suddenly there's this underlying tension, this sense that something important is being set in motion behind the scenes. And from there the chapter shifts into a more exciting rhythm as Harry begins gathering everything he needs for school, buying books, robes, and supplies, each purchase feeling like a step further away from his old life and closer to his true identity, until he chooses an owl, a beautiful white companion he later names Hedwig, symbolizing not just friendship but independence. And then we arrive at what might be the most important moment in the entire chapter, the visit to a place that feels quiet, almost sacred, where the wand maker studies Harry with an intensity that suggests he already knows more than he's saying, explaining that the wand chooses the wizard, not the other way around. And as Harry tries wand after wand, nothing seems to work, creating this slow build of anticipation until finally one wand responds, sending a surge of magic through the room as if it has been waiting for him all along. And that's when the twist hits, because the wand contains a phoenix feather core, and that same phoenix gave a feather to another wand, the wand of the very wizard responsible for Harry's past. And in that moment the chapter quietly reveals something chilling, that Harry and Voldemort are connected in a way that goes far beyond a simple encounter, a connection that feels almost destined. And as the chapter comes to an end, Harry walks away with everything he thought he needed, a wand, a pet, a sense of belonging, but also with something far more powerful, a question, a mystery, and a future that feels both exciting and dangerous at the same time. And that's what makes this chapter so important, because it doesn't just introduce a magical world, it plants the seeds of a story that is much darker and more complex than it first appears. So if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments what you think about that connection between Harry and Voldemort, coincidence or destiny, because as we move forward, trust me, things are only going to get more intense.